our life exempt from public haunt finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, servants in the sweetest
and I'm directing this production of As You Like It by William Shakespeare for the University of Iowa main stages. There are a lot of elements from this play that remind one of a fairy tale. You have the traditional settings of the palace, the forest, sort of a faraway kingdom. None of these is ever identified specifically. You have these sort of improbable reversals. Where you have a brother who is sort of seen as, relatively evil through most of the play, and at the end we learn that he's had a conversion. Two brothers are reconciled, and that seems highly improbable by the time we reach intermission, and yet that happens. And there's love in all its forms. There's a lot of love at first sight. All of it is very young love. There are 4 couples married at the end of this play, and I believe, except maybe for Winter's Tale, and I'd have to go and count, but I think there are more weddings at the end of this play than any Shakespeare play. There are 4 of them. There is at the core of this play something very serious, and I think it is about the complexity of love and how, yes, we can sort of have all this comic energy and we can sort of laugh at ourselves and all our illusions, but at the center, at the core, we all know that being in love and loving can be painful. And it is that pain which allows us to transform, to grow. Get all the people who leave the court and go to the forest sort of bump up against big questions of who they are, what it is that they really want, what it is that they value. I find the play itself, at least this production, is divided into 2 sections. And I took a quote which is spoken by the Duchess in the forest, in the first forest scene. And she says, "Sweet are the uses of adversity." And I find that the first half of this play is about adversity. All of the problems, all of the struggles are laid out in the first act. And the second act is how each of these characters finds the sweet use in each of his or her adversity. And that's sort of what gives it the comic structure as well. Yeah, I mean, you think of all the elements that are in this play. You have a wrestling match. How theatrical is that? Is that wonderful?
Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his Mother Earth?
If you meant to mock me after, you should not have mocked me before.
Now, Hercules, be thy speed, young man!
So often, when I start a Shakespeare play, I tell the actors, what really matters here are the words, and that we don't want to compete with the eye. And I think that's a tough balance in Shakespeare to maintain, because we are so visually driven in this culture. It's a very complicated speech. It's difficult and thorny to follow, especially when the ear isn't used to hearing Shakespeare. So what we're doing in this production, we have these huge panels. It's doors that they can open in any configuration. Our set is very simple. It is an empty, bare stage. We're able to go between the forest and the court very quickly, very easily. I think it's the first production of As You Like It that I will have seen where we don't have a literal forest with literal trees. And I said to the designer, Eric Stone, I want to be able to go from one world to another very easily. And I want the forest to have a feeling of expansion. So I'm hoping that Adam Boyer, who's the lighting designer, will just create all kinds of looks with what will be, in the end, a fairly neutral canvas. I can't think of one Shakespeare, especially comedies, where once one declares love for somebody, that there isn't a testing of that, there isn't a huge testing, and what gets revealed is our foolishness, our illusions, our misconceptions, and it's fraught, with jealousy and with huge desires and lust. And well, I think basically in any Shakespeare play, the minute you say you're in love, you're going to get a comeuppance. You're going to look foolish. It is going to happen to you.